What's going on? Here we are in LA. I've got Susan Niebergall from Susan Niebergall Fitness. You could put her handle right here, Anthony, or here, or here, or here, or here. And Anthony's behind the camera. And today what we're gonna do is I asked for some fitness questions on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you can follow that here. And we've got a bunch of questions, so Susan and I are gonna go back and forth, answer them. Not usually long forms, and we're not gonna do long form style, just like quick answers to your questions. And if you have any further questions, let us know in the comments below. And now we're gonna get started. Question number one from Lee Boyce, at Coach Lee Boyce. What is the biggest mistake people make regarding strength training based on your experience? What do you think, Susan?
I'll say real quick, with the population that I generally work with, middle-aged women, they don't push themselves hard enough. They'll stick with the same weight forever. So and I think it's a result of not feeling like they're capable enough or that they're strong enough, and they're always stronger than they think, always.
I love that. I love that. So they don't lift as much as they can lift.
Absolutely.
They stop before, like.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's just fear. I think they just don't know how strong they are. They've never stepped outside their comfort zone, and it's a little bit of that. They're scared. The myth of I'm going to get hurt because I'm lifting too much weight. It's all that, I think.
And the bulky one too. Sometimes
they don't want to lift too much.
Right. That's so funny. Is one of my favorite things I've heard in regard to that is like, a lot of the myth is like, don't lift more than 3 pounds. Like, women shouldn't lift more than 3 pounds. Yeah. Meanwhile, like, your purse weighs more than 3 fucking pounds.
Oh.
So it's like, absolutely, that's that's like by far one of my favorite myths.
Yeah.
Another like biggest mistake that people will make with strength training that I've seen is they will switch. They switch way too often. They switch whatever it is they're doing. Like, hey, I'm gonna follow this program, and then like they won't actually follow that program. They're like, well, I'm following this program, but I made these tweaks and these tweaks and this tweak and that tweak.
Yes.
So like they're not even following that program anymore. And then after 2 weeks, they're like, all right, well, I'll try something else. It's like, fucking follow one thing.
Yeah.
Like one program for at least a month, 2 months before you decide to switch. And like, I would say before you decide something doesn't work or before you decide to switch, if you really want to see if you deserve to be frustrated with your results, see if you can follow one thing for 30, 60, 90 days. If you can follow something for 30, 60, or 90 days, then you deserve to be frustrated with your results. But if you can't do that, you don't deserve to be frustrated yet.
Absolutely.
Next question we got from Brendan Caffrey at B Caffrey. I'm a serious runner, at least 1 marathon a year. What strength work should someone like me be doing to supplement the running?
I would say focus on single leg exercises with lighter weight, because especially if you said marathon.
Yep.
Yeah, you're gonna have chunks and chunks and chunks of mileage, and if you start going too heavy and maybe even too often, you're gonna trash your legs. You're not gonna be able to even put in your miles. So lighter weight, single leg exercises like lunges, split squats, that kind of thing. There's also a very cool exercise, actually, if you're in a glute bridge and walking your legs out and walking them in, and then marching from a glute bridge is great.
Yeah, how many times a week would you say a runner should be strength training?
For a marathoner, I would maybe say twice.
That's exactly what I would say.
Yeah, because of all the mileage.
That's exactly what I'd say. If you're a marathon runner, long distance runner, 2 times a week, full body, I would say. No reason to do much more than that, just because you're going to be doing so many miles. It's like you don't want to be too sore. 2 times a week, full body strength training. I would say main move would be focusing on, like, that would be your heaviest move, whether it's a deadlift variation. But even then, like, not too much of a reason to go max effort on like a conventional deadlift, sumo deadlift. If you want to go, you could do trap bar. But even then, I would do a single leg variation. Sometimes a single leg RDL, a lunge, Bulgarian split squat. That way you're inherently limited by how much you can use in terms of how much weight. So you're inherently limiting how much stress you put on your body, but you're able to maximally stress yourself within that movement, so you're still getting the strength and the benefit. So single leg movements, squat, single legs, lunges, Bulgarian split squats, RDLs, hip thrusts. It's also, I would say that's really important as well, not just doing movements like lunges and Romanian deadlifts, but also getting in the different plane of motion for hip thrusts. So it's not just moving forward and backwards, but also so you're going up and down. So hip thrusts are great, and also band walks, lateral band walks, moving in all directions. I think it's one of the main reasons runners will get injured is because a lot of people only focus their strength training on forward and backward, and they don't do enough side to side, which can help with your knees as well. So doing side to side movements, clamshells, lateral band walks are really good, and then hip thrusts too.
Absolutely.
All right, next question. So thoughts on intermittent fasting, 16 hours fasting, 8 hours eating. Is this only really beneficial for weight loss? This is from Adam Galley, Mr. Adam Galley. I've answered this question a lot, so rather than go into it now, you can click either here or here, wherever Anthony puts it. I have a full video on intermittent fasting. I've also written some really in-depth articles on it, so I'm gonna put those in the description. You can go if you wanna read those full articles. So either watch this video or read the articles in the description below, and you'll get everything you need to know about intermittent fasting. Okay, here's a good question from Inner Circle member Natalia Frank, at Natalia Frank 79. Susan, when incorporating a new nutrition plan, how much time should be allowed to see results before you evaluate if a change is needed if it's not working?
You know, Natalia, we talk about this a lot in the Inner Circle. I think 4 to 6 weeks in that kind of time frame, and maybe even a little bit longer, because sometimes you can get stuck at a number for even longer than that. But I think generally, making sure you're dialed in, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing that meticulously for 4 to 6 weeks, then reevaluate.
100% agree, and I think the most important part about what Susan said is doing something meticulously, because a lot of people will say they're gonna start a program, say they're gonna start doing something, and then 10 days in, 15 days in, 30 days in, it's not working. But if they actually go back and track, well, like, how consistent was I in following it? They weren't as consistent as they think they are. So if you were gonna start a new plan, number one, give it a bare minimum of 30 days. Bare minimum 30 days, and make sure, I would take a calendar and mark off every day that you're being 100% consistent with it. If you go on a Saturday and like you go off track, like you can't say that you were consistent. And then if on the following Sunday, like you weren't consistent with it, you can't say you were. And you have to track up, like if at the end of the month, you have 12 days that you weren't really consistent with it, that's almost half the month, and you really gotta like track that. So 30 days, but be very consistent.
That's so important, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right, so from Melissa, Cosma Melissa 59, is it bad that I have a meal 30 minutes or so after working out? There are so many myths going around, please put this in the vlog. So Susan, is it bad to have a meal 30 minutes after working out?
No, it's not at all. Eat.
Totally fine. And I think to just expand on it a little bit, it's the good or bad, like anything we say, is it good or is it bad? Is it right, is it wrong? Is it better or is it worse? It doesn't really exist. Like the body doesn't work like that. It's not like the body, like that's not how we work. We're not robots. We're not like computers that need like this on this. It's like, listen, if you think about back to like evolutionary over time, people would go for maybe a day or 2 days without really eating and lots of exercise, lots of movement, whatever, hunting, gathering, and then they would have a big meal and it's like they were fine. And then other times we would eat a lot in a short period of time. It's like we're really good at adapting. We're really good at using what we need to use when we need it, like when we have it. Don't let anybody make you think or convince you that like it's good or bad, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, whatever. It's like hit your calories, hit your protein, do a lot of movement and exercise, sleep, you're good. All right, so if you don't follow Susan already, go follow Susan. Do you want them to follow what's your YouTube? What's your YouTube?
Susan Niebergall Fitness.
Susan Niebergall Fitness, easy enough. Susan Niebergall Fitness, go check Susan out. She's the other coach in the inner circle. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Talk to you soon.